Hi, welcome to my channel, Greater Ethiopia. My name is Ezra. I would like to welcome and say thank you to all my new subscribers. I was very surprised to see that I had 34 new subscribers this month, and I would just like to say I appreciate you being here. Now, I'm going to tell you guys about my experience living here in Ethiopia, and I'm going to catch you up a little bit about what's happening here in Ethiopia today. My experience living in Ethiopia is very pleasurable. I've had a very pleasurable time living in Ethiopia. I have never been as happy as I have ever been in my entire life living in Ethiopia. The last time I've been this happy was when I was a little kid. Living in Ethiopia and waking up in Ethiopia is like a brand new day of my life. I'm from America, Atlanta, Georgia. Don't get me wrong, I like my country, but I love Ethiopia. Ethiopia is such a beautiful place. The people are so hospitable, the food is tasty, and the people living here is like living a part of a big family. Like the feeling that you get living in Ethiopia is like being a part of a big family. The Ethiopian people are part of a huge family, and I really appreciate them. And this is one of the things that I like about living here. Despite the fact that Ethiopia, within the last 2 years, have had a heightened tension with ethnic violence and political discord, the fact remains that Ethiopia is still relatively a very peaceful place to live. Yes, Ethiopia has its political tensions. Yes, Ethiopia has ethnic tensions. But the way I see things is that it's fighting amongst brothers. You know, when you have a family, in a family, it's not always peaceful. When you have a family and people that you love, you don't always get along with your family members. When I was growing up, I had problems with my brother. I had, fighting with my sister. I wasn't always getting along with my dad and my mom. But at the end of the day, we are still family and we still love each other. That's how I view the Ethiopian people. When I see Ethiopian tribes fighting each other, it's almost like witnessing two brothers fighting each other. Two brothers that you are very close friends with. So how can you choose a side? How can I choose one brother over the other when I get along equally and I love both brothers equally? You know? So I can't choose sides here in Ethiopia because I love all the Ethiopian people. Because when you meet the Ethiopian people individually, like let's say I meet a Garage brother, I meet a Oromo brother or Amahar brother, a Tigray brother, I meet the elders, I meet the priest. They are all very hospitable people individually to me, and it tears me up to see them fighting each other. But I can't say that them fighting each other means that they are lower value than the rest of us, like for instance Americans, because all countries has their bad parts. Our country has their downsides. Not no country in the world is 100% peaceful. The only 100% peaceful place that you'll ever be in your life is heaven, and you won't get there until you die. Earth has its conflicts. Earth has its situations in which you cannot control. But overall, relatively, Ethiopia is still a very peaceful place. I feel very safe walking the streets of Ethiopia. I feel very safe, you know, meeting new people here because Ethiopia is, like I said, a great big family. Despite the fact that brothers are, fighting brothers and, these things are, natural because the Ethiopian people are very close to each other. And there are 81 different ethnic tribes here in Ethiopia. And it tears me up to see them fighting, but I can't be naive and say, oh, because they're fighting, that means that Ethiopia is not a good place to live or is not safe. Still, Ethiopia is very safe. At least the violence that's happening here in Ethiopia, unfortunately, even though it's ethnic and it's political, you can see it coming. To stay away from this region. For instance, when elections come, to stay inside the house for a couple of days. You know that in this region, this tribe is warring against this tribe, or this political party is warring against this political party, and that's expected. But I still feel safer. You know why? Because when I live in the United States, you don't know when violence will break out. Violence can break out any moment living in the United States. You can go to the gas station, you can go to the grocery store, you can go to school, you can go to work, and some random madman will come in with a gun and gun down and kill everybody around him. As you see, living in the United States, there has been a lot of mass shootings. And I would like to say to my brothers living in the United States, do not go crazy, okay? You don't have to go crazy. There are different options that you have living outside America. Excuse me, I have to put my camera down because here in Ethiopia, people, they don't like to be recorded. So that's why I put my camera down when I walk into a store or when I walk into a crowded place. I put my camera down so I want to respect people and I don't want them to feel like I'm recording them, but I'm not. But let me continue. Living in the United States is very is no more peaceful than it is living here in Africa. You have violence living in the United States, so don't think that Americans shouldn't think that Africa is a lowly place. I hear Americans say, "Oh, Africa is so violent. Be careful when you go. There's civil wars, there's ethnic tensions, there's political discord." And I'm like, yeah, but that's not the same thing that's happening in America. We don't have political tension. We don't have racism. We don't have random guys coming in. If you watch the news in America in the last couple of weeks, you will see a lot of patterns of random acts of violence happening. I saw one guy, he go inside of a grocery store. He killed everybody. He killed like 10 people. I saw another guy, he killed his whole entire family. I saw another guy, he killed his whole entire family. I seen just in the news yesterday, a guy, he went into his job. He shot up everybody in his job. So are you telling me that living in America is any safer than living here in Africa? Like I said, living in Africa is not always, it has its faults. But at the same time, no place in the world doesn't have its faults. But still, relatively speaking, Africa and Ethiopia in particularly is still a very peaceful place to live. Oh my goodness, it gets dark. By the way, here in Ethiopia, you can go outside of your house and it can be very light outside with a lot of sunshine. Within 30 minutes, it's dark when it comes to the evening time because we are experiencing our winter right now. But anyways, I would just like to say, I would still rather live here in Ethiopia than to go back to America. Even though Ethiopia has had violence, especially in the rural areas, I still feel much, much, much more safer living in Ethiopia than I do back home. Living in the United States can drive someone mad. I feel very sad and I feel very sorry for a lot of people who live in America who have no control over their future and their destiny. For example, when you get pulled over by a cop, you don't know if that cop is going to kill you or not. Living in Ethiopia, I promise you, in the depths of my heart, I have never had an experience where the police pull me over or they harass me for no reason. I have never had an experience where I felt like my life was in jeopardy when I got pulled over by the police. Even to be honest with you, I haven't really never had an experience where I ever got pulled over by the police. When you see the police and they see you, they leave you alone, Well, living in America as a black American, I've always got pulled over every other day by the police and driving my car. I've always got harassed. I've seen gun violence. I've seen a lot of violence living in the United States. So that's why, even though Ethiopia is having a lot of violence and a lot of political discord happening here and some ethnic tension, I can't say that living here is any less safe than living anywhere else in the world. There's no place in the world that's safe. The only place that's 100% safe is heaven, okay? But Ethiopia has its faults, but we are a family. We are Ethiopian people. We are a family. I wish that all the Ethiopian people, the Garage, the Amahar, the Oromo, the Afar, and any other tribe that I might be missing out on, we all unite together and become one people and focus on our economy. Because the United States and Europe, they like to see Africa destroyed like this because it makes a way for them to come and invest easier, or it makes when the dollar it makes the dollar strengthen over the Ethiopian birr or any other African currency. They can say, oh look, this place is not stable enough for investors to come. So the next thing you know, our birr is dropping, and we cannot compete with the world economy because nobody wants to invest, or people think that this place is unsafe. But that's just a part of the Babylonian, Babylonian media propaganda. You see, Africans, And Black Americans, we have so much more potential than what we have, what the world has shown us, okay? We used to be ancient empires. We used to be a mighty, mighty people. What happened to us, okay? As you can see here, this is construction happening right here in Ethiopia. There's a lot of infrastructural construction happening. We need to focus on building our economy. We need to focus on building our infrastructure. We need to focus on advancing our technology and science. And at the same time, we need to keep our culture, we need to keep our heritage and our traditions intact. We don't have time to be fighting each other, to be wasting our time on petty conflicts, on petty tribalism. These people who are fighting over tribalism and these people who are fighting over petty conflicts, unfortunately, are the most uneducated Africans. But we educated Africans, we need to unite. We need to create a platform where we can build our communities up and where we can, move forward in the future. I encourage all African brothers and sisters and all Ethiopians, no matter what tribe you are, to unite and to make thinking tanks where we can come together and we can think, how can we bypass all of these things that have been conflicting us for centuries and move forward in our future, and to build an economy and to build and pave a way for our families and for our children to live peacefully in the future. I love all my African brothers and sisters, and I encourage us all to set aside our petty tribalism, to set aside our petty politics, and to build ourselves mentally, spiritually, and emotionally so we can create an Africa that we can live in and our children can thrive in the future. If you like what you heard today, please subscribe to my channel, and I have more videos coming, and it's about to be election, and it's about to be a lot of stuff happening here in Ethiopia, so I'm going to keep you contacted. I'm going to keep you updated on what's happening here. I try to make a video every week. Thank you very much. Greater Ethiopia. My name is Ezra. Have a blessed day.